and welcome to our 27th, Carolyn, can you believe it? 27th episode of Linking Up with Loveworks.
I almost said 26.
I'm losing.
I think it's an age thing.
I'm losing track here. So it is our 27th episode of Link Up with Loveworks, and we're so excited that you are tuning in today and watching just our Dreamer and Doer interview. Loveworks is a place where we believe that you are never too young to be a dreamer, and you're also never too young to make a difference in this world. And this is a really special, not only week for us, but day for us. And for a couple of reasons. We have been live streaming, not through Zoom. We love Zoom, but we have been able to meet with our Dreamer and Doer in a live studio this entire week. And so we would love for you to also mark your calendars for tomorrow, where we're going to have our next special Dreamer and Doer interview. We'll share more about that as we come to a conclusion and wrap things up. We want to extend a big special thank you to Lion and the Lamb Ministries, located here in Norman, Oklahoma. And I know it sounds cliche, but they say that it takes teamwork to make the dream work. And we're so grateful for our collaboration and partnership to help make our Dreamer and Doer and Carolyn and I look good on screen. It's also a special day and week for us because we are in a live studio audience, as I mentioned, and we have something that we started that's brand new at Loveworks, and it's called our Summer Link Camp. So we have some of our students here, our young dreamers and doers, who have been given the opportunity not only just to have fun and grow in their leadership, but to discover their passion through our passion projects. And so, Carolyn, it's been awesome. We're going to take a moment. We're going to jump into our interview, but we have something also exciting this week. We launched our next block of leadership courses, and those are, remember, we talk about all things digital that can be found on our website, loveworksleadership.org. So, Carolyn, what did we drop this week with our next course?
For sure. So we just started a new block of lessons called 30 Seconds. And so it's all about choices that you can make that only take 30 seconds of time that will totally influence and impact your life and those around you. And so this week's lesson is called 30 Seconds of Wonder. And it's all about hanging on to that wonder, being curious, and being open to new ideas.
I love it. I think I need to get started on the course.
Can I enroll?
You sure can.
Okay, great.
Yeah, absolutely. And we make it as easy as 1, 2, 3. So loveworksleadership.org, tap on all things digital resources, and there you have your menu of options. We mentioned that it is our 27th episode. And so what does that mean? We have 26 other fantastic live streams for you to go back and re-watch. You can watch them every day and all day. And we'd encourage you to check out our YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that's just at Loveworks Leadership, and you can see the previous 26 episodes there. Carolyn, I think you have a great question for us today.
I do. It's roll call time. So
Okay.
if you're listening out there, go ahead, drop in the comments your name, your age, where you're from. We want to know who you are. And today's question of the day is, have you ever started or have you ever wanted to start a business? If so, what is it?
Ooh, good question. I like that question. I wish I was asked that question when I was 6 years old, doing all of these entrepreneurial things that others thought were cute, but they were really entrepreneurial. So parents out there, professionals out there, pay attention to what this generation and young students are interested, because you just never know, they might be a next up-and-coming entrepreneur and business owner. I know everyone's excited to get to our interview with our next Dreamer and Doer. Just want to remind you about our format here. So each live stream, we have the special opportunity to sit down with a dreamer and a doer, and our guest is going to share with you at least one of their big dreams. And we won't stop there and just hear about the dream, but we're also going to hear about some of the obstacles and challenges that our dreamer and doer encountered along the way. And so if you think in terms of link and digital, when you're ever on your smartphone, a tablet, or a computer, you're going to click on or tap on the link that's going to take you from where you are to the place that you want to go. Mom, dad, student, business leader tomorrow.
For sure. Are we ready to meet our dreamer and doer?
I think we are.
All right. So Bri Ramos, she is right here. Bri Ramos is a passionate business owner with a life mission to influence women through various platforms. Currently, she's the founder and creative director of The Buzz Brand, a creative agency based out of Oklahoma City and Las Vegas, Nevada. With a passion to influence and uplift women, she takes a creative and feminine approach to curate brands, craft marketing campaigns, and impact women in a positive way. Prior to starting her company in 2014, she played a strong role in a nonprofit world and public school system. Maybe something we're familiar with that, right?
We're a little familiar with that.
And she developed initiatives and organizations dedicated to helping at-risk youth for them to live into their full potential through hands-on learning and leadership and character development. Hi, Bri.
Sounds familiar.
Hi, Bri.
Hi. Thank you guys so much for having me today. It feels so good to be back, essentially.
You
it's
are-
my favorite time of year.
I like to hear
Summer
that.
leadership.
Well, we've known you for a very long time. Bri, not where we intended to start, but I didn't know what you were going to wear today. Can you explain to viewers in our live studio audience about your shirt?
So this T-shirt is about, I would say, 8 or 9 years old.
That's right.
Yeah. And it was one of our very first T-shirts for summer leadership. So I have a stack of old retro Loveworks T-shirts, and this is one of my favorite ones. So I wore it today.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
love that. And Carolyn approved. Carolyn, you're now working on the design work for Loveworks and logos. Well, Bri, great to have you here. So the place that we did want to start, and we'd love to get to know you just a little bit more. And Carolyn mentioned that you are not from Norman, Oklahoma, but you grew up in Las Vegas. And unless our students have traveled to Nevada, I'm sure that they possibly have heard maybe nicknames and how Nevada is referenced. We probably won't go into that. Or they might think of like big casinos and wondering, is there anything else there? There definitely is. You're a product of it. And so can you just take us back a little bit, maybe paint a picture of just what it was like growing up and as a kid with your family?
Sure. So this is a question I get asked a lot. What was it like growing up in Vegas? And I didn't know any different. It was normal to me. And now that I've moved away, and when I go back, I realize, okay, maybe it wasn't that normal. But, a lot of people think of Las Vegas as what they see on TV. And really, the Vegas that everyone kind of thinks of is one street. It's a couple miles long. Las Vegas Boulevard isn't very big. And then outside of all the hotels and casinos and neon lights is a city. It's a normal city with schools and hospitals and churches and law offices. And, it's a normal town. It's actually a pretty small town. So you don't meet a lot of people who are from Las Vegas. You normally meet people who have moved there or traveled there or lived there for a little bit. In our family, I'm third generation. So that means I was born there. My dad was born there, and his parents were born there. So my great-grandparents came to Las Vegas, and we actually have a plaque. We're one of the founding families of Las Vegas. Yeah. So we've been there a really long time, and it's home, and that's where the rest of my family is. So holidays are spent back there, and we have, I think I came out pretty normal, so. Yeah.
I would say that for sure. So what brought you to Oklahoma then?
So I went to a pretty small school growing up. I went to school with the same 35 students from kindergarten to 8th grade, and then that 35 students grew into maybe 150 when we went into high school. But I went to a pretty small grade school and high school, and there was a group of my friends that a ton of them were going to California schools. Some were coming to OU, and I really wanted something different. That's all I knew. I knew those 35 kids, and we went to the same school, and all the same families hung out, and that's kind of all I knew. And so for college, I knew I wanted something different. And it was the scariest thing I had done up to that point, was to move halfway across the country away from my family and my brother and my sisters, and they were having kids, and so it was a really hard move for me, but I was like, okay, I can do this. 4 years, something different. I want to have a real college experience. I didn't want to just shift to a school in Las Vegas or a Southern California school where all my friends were going, because it would have been high school on repeat, So I came to OU, and I didn't leave, and here I am. I'm still here. So, and it gave me that experience, 4 years of something different. And I encourage you, if you're in high school or thinking about going to school. For me, it was a little different because we didn't have we didn't have OU, we didn't have OSU, we didn't have a university to be really proud of, and so. You guys have the opportunity to go here and to go to a great school, but if you have the opportunity to move away and to go do something different and to go see the world, I really encourage you to like take that step. And I grew up. I mean, when you're 18 and 19 and you're sick and your mom isn't around the corner to come like make you feel like, you grow up. And so I grew up a lot in that 4 years. And then I just, I got involved and I fell in love with the community here and planted my roots. And 11 years later, here I am, still here. Yeah.
So you mentioned wanting something different as it pertains to your education.
Sure.
And I'm sure there's a whole story that's involved in conversation that you had with your family just about that. And you mentioned also, too, the growing up. So there wasn't, someone around the corner or a half an hour away to do your laundry and make food and all of those things. I'd like to fast forward, and you kind of got us there about your involvement with the community, but upon graduation, really your career path and trajectory took a different direction. Whenever our team hears the name Bri, or we think about you, we think of the big dreamer. So when was that big dreamer just awakened, and what direction did that take your life?
Yeah, so a little backstory. So I came to school, and I thought I wanted to do journalism. I thought I wanted to be on TV and be a broadcaster of some sort. And then very quickly into my freshman year, I realized I did not want to do that. And I was reading a book called Shame of the Nation by Jonathan Kozol. And he talked about the school system. And like I said, I went to a really small school with the same 35 kids. It was a private Catholic school, and so I'm reading in this book about the rest of the school system in the nation, and he talked about how some classrooms don't have books and they don't have air conditioning, and the state of different social classes and things like that. And it just opened my eyes, and it really pulled at my heartstrings. And so I thought I wanted to be a teacher. So I was an education major at OU throughout college. And then one morning I'd gone to church and I was sitting there, and this guy comes on the TV screen, and he's really animated, and he has this spiky blonde hair, and he's like, "Good morning, Journey Church. I'm so excited to have you all here today, and I can't wait to share my vision with you for Loveworks leadership."
Who was that guy?
He went on, Michael Hirsch went on to share his vision for the organization, and it just pulled at my heartstrings, and I knew I had to get involved. And so that really was the start to my journey of finding my identity and who I was called to be just as a person and as a woman, and the influence I knew that I was meant to share with people. And so I decided I didn't quite want to be a teacher, but I was able to shift that passion to influence and help other people figure out what they wanted to do into the nonprofit world, which was Loveworks. And I spent a lot of time here. And after my time at Loveworks, I think what's unique about my story is, like, I've had a couple different careers. I've taught and I've been in the nonprofit world, and now I have my own business. But the calling on my life to influence and to encourage women and to encourage young people and to help people figure out their identity has stayed the same through all my different career paths. So figuring out what your identity is and what you're meant to do and the gift that you're supposed to share with the world, finding that is so crucial and important. And that calling over my life has just stayed the same in all my different career paths. Right. And so I've loved to see that stay the same. So I did as a teacher, I did in the nonprofit world. I'm now doing it as a business owner and the people that I get to work with, and now as a mother. And so that theme over my life has stayed the same throughout all the different things that I've had to do, that I've gotten to do.
So good.
Yeah.
I'd just love to make just a quick comment. And I think it's powerful for those of you that are watching, because I think, sometimes we think about ways that we can, make a difference. It may have to be, on a weekend if we have an extra couple of hours and signing up for a service project or being a part of a church or a nonprofit like Loveworks. But Bri, I loved how you have stayed engaged, not only, part of helping to shape Loveworks and who we are today, but now through your business. And so you're continually through your business, working with and collaborating, not only with Loveworks, but other similar organizations. So just an encouragement that there are definitely ways that you can use your business. It doesn't have to be an either or, but it can be a yes and.
Yeah, and I think with what I do, I haven't really talked about much about what I do, but I'm in the marketing and the branding world. And really what branding is, it's all about your identity and figuring out who you are and what you have to share with the world, whether that's you as an individual, which we would call a personal brand, or as a company, so your professional brand. And I get to help people and I get to help companies figure out who they are and how they want to showcase what they have to offer to the world, both visually and in their words, and through their social media. And especially my time at Loveworks, I saw what an impact marketing and social media was really on the rise when we started. And I saw how influenced you guys were and the messaging that was pushed at you guys and the stuff that you see every day now on TikTok and Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook and all those different things. And I knew as a society we could do better. Yeah. And you guys were being served information that I was just, it's just heartbreaking to see all the things, the messaging that you guys are inundated with. So I knew from the marketing perspective, I could help impact on a different, bigger level and help companies craft campaigns that were positive and encouraging and life-giving and, helping other business owners get involved in the community, because it's so important, like, especially as a small business owner, the community makes your business possible. So you have a responsibility to give back to the community that you're in. And so it's just so crucial for businesses and business owners to, give back to their community.
That's good.
Yeah.
So we're talking now about the Buzz brand, your business, which you started about 6 years ago. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
This year is 6 years.
So what can you share us with us, like the big dream for the Buzz brand?
Yeah. So I've had the agency for 6 years. It started here in Norman, and then I moved our office to Oklahoma City. And then 2 years ago, my two big sisters came on full time. So they left their corporate jobs and they joined my team. And so the three of us, we work together. It's a really fun family business. So they're in Las Vegas and they run our Las Vegas office, and I'm here in Oklahoma City. And we've been a service agency, and so we help you run your social media. We help create your logo. We help create your website and all those things. And now we're making this really cool shift kind of into the digital. Everything is going digital. And so on Friday, we are launching our digital shop, and so people will have access to different logo templates that they can download and use in Canva on their own. And it's really for those entrepreneurs who maybe don't quite have that big business yet, and they don't have a big budget to hire us to do all these different things. We're giving them the tools and resources to do it on their own. And so we're really, really, really excited to launch our digital shop. That's kind of the next phase for us.
Do you mind giving us a shameless plug on where we can go on Friday?
Yes, thebuzzbrand.com. So new website, you'll be able to see the shop on thebuzzbrand.com, and we have all different types of digital resources. So,
did you think, going back to growing up, did you ever imagine, dream, use your imagination, you were playing and doing something where you thought like one day that you would be starting your very own business?
I'm so glad you asked me that question, because absolutely not. I had no idea. And people are like, did you go to school for it? How'd you start your business? No, I just literally figured it out like as I went. And I wish I knew what I was supposed to do earlier, because I really didn't. I have for the last 6 years, and then I loved what I did before, but like, had I known that earlier, I feel like I could have made so much more of an impact. And I think so many people are like, okay, what am I supposed to do? What am I don't know what I'm good at. I don't know what I like. And I think it's so important for you guys. All of you guys have the access to Loveworks. So you guys are already in a good position, but treat life like a video game, especially at your age. Like, try as many things as you can to get to the next level. Like, play basketball, try out for the track team, try music, try all these different things. And it may not be a talent, a physical talent that you have, but maybe your gift is compassion. Or maybe like blood and guts don't bother you. Like maybe you're supposed to be a nurse or a doctor. Really look at the things that like pull on your heartstrings, or the things that you're good at. Or maybe you're really good at just having a conversation with someone and listening. It doesn't always have to be a physical skill or a talent. But try and figure out what that is, and then that can lead you kind of into where you're supposed to go.
Ooh, that's good. I was going to write that down, but I don't have a pen here. So hopefully Elle is dropping somewhere in the comments. Treat it like a video game. I love it.
Video games are way more fun when you look at it that way. I wish I would have had that mindset when I was their age. Like, I don't want to finish playing the basketball season. I fell out of every game, which I did. I played basketball and soccer and track and volleyball. I tried everything. But like, I think when we don't like something, we want to just like quit and give up, finish it out and get to the next level and then try something new,
Ooh, I'm glad you said that. And I think especially just the finishing part.
Sure.
Because we sign up for things and, we think, well, after the first try or the second try, and usually with these things, there is some type of a commitment that's attached to it. I like how you said finish it.
Yeah.
You would say kind of treat it like a video game. I would say kind of treat your passion like sushi. Sushi can sometimes be an acquired taste. You may
and
not.
messy.
Carolyn's looking at me like, wait, how are you using that?
I did. Yeah, I did.
You're
It was not acquired.
You're not for you.
Instant love.
Well, if students are engaged right now, or anyone watching this, their heart is hopefully just racing. Thinking about their big dream. Perhaps it's thinking about the business that they want to start. Bri, that today's theme is all about the grind, and so I know there's big dreams, and there might be that bubble of this business that they want to start, and all the money that that they're going to, of course, make with their business and their product. I'm sure, like Buzz Brand, you came up with the idea and the name and the graphic overnight and the logo, and then you launched your website, and the next day you had too many clients to work with. Is that how it all went down?
Exactly. That's exactly how it happened. When you're an entrepreneur, there is a very harsh reality to it, and the people that you see, I think one thing that is a disservice to your guys' generation is that there is this instant gratification perception of becoming famous overnight and becoming a social media superstar and having a reality TV show. And it's kind of like maybe subconsciously ingrained in you guys of like this immediate path to success, and like that's not reality. That's not how it is. And yeah, there were hard days, and there were hard months, and there were like, I think one of the things I struggled with most, and I think you guys can probably connect with this, but it was just that self-doubt of like, what am I doing? Like, am I even good at this? Is this even doing anything for people? Like, am I making a difference? Like, and you go through, as an entrepreneur, they call it the entrepreneurial roller coaster. Like one day you're going up, and then you're at the very top, and then you go way down, and then you're in that valley, and then you go up and up and up. And that's so true. That's just like the day-to-day of being an entrepreneur it's hard. But what kept me going was I knew this is what I'm called to right now in my life. And I know that my company is so much bigger than me, and that I have a society and a world to help impact in a positive way. And so those days that I'm kind of in that slump and it's so hard, and I've had this conversation with your wife of like, what am I doing? Like we go through those times of like, what am I doing? But knowing that this company is bigger than me, and knowing that I have an impact and an influence to make on people and women and business owners, and helping them find their identity and get their company out in the world, that's what gets me through those hard times. Yeah.
Knowing that why, it's huge.
It's huge.
So is there a big dream that you're working on right now?
The digital shop is our big dream, and which is like happens to be launching Friday. So yeah, and and for me, I think Buzz Brand will always be around, but I think I eventually will kind of go on to something different, maybe in the creative director role, and help maybe contract with one company at a time or something, and help turn their company around, and then work with someone else. And so I think I'll probably do something similar always, but I get a little antsy. Like I've been doing this for 6 years, so I'm like, okay, what's next? What are we gonna do next? So we'll see.
I know there's probably something else, but you're not going to let the proverbial cat out of the bag. You know, I just thought of this, just knowing how much there's, and you have a little one now.
Yes.
So she's gorgeous.
Thank you very much.
How do you, so we're talking about grind, we're thinking grind, keeping grind in mind. How do you pace?
That's a good question. Day by day, literally day by day. And I think it's knowing, my order of priority, a priority that I've had to shift recently. Like 3 years ago, I worked, 15 to 18 hour days, and I worked all the time, and I worked early in the morning and late at night, and I ran around during the day, and now I have a family, and so I've had to shift that pace, and I've had to reprioritize. And so really I think it comes to prioritizing, okay, what's most important? Myself and self-care, because if you're empty and your bucket isn't full, then you're not going to be able to share your caring for my family. And it's little things like, okay, I leave the house at 7, I don't get home till 5:30 or 6, but dinner was supposed to be ready at 5. It's just like figuring all those things out and prioritizing the things I didn't have to prioritize before. So pacing yourself, caring for yourself, and then figuring out your priorities from there. And one thing I've learned is it takes a village. I mean, it takes a village, and don't think you have to do it on your own. Like, have people in your life that can help you with your dream. Have people in your life that you can bounce ideas off of. And you guys have that here, so.
Well, thank you for answering that question for me. Help me out with the rhythms of life. Bri, you're going to join some other great company in answering this next question. And at Loveworks, we work with lots of different ages of students, and we love to ask our dreamer and doers if you had something that you could share with your former middle school or high school self, just one bit of advice, what would you say to your 13-year-old self?
So I was really insecure when I was in middle school, very insecure. And it wasn't over the way that we wore uniforms, and so it wasn't the way that I dressed. I wasn't worried about that. It wasn't the way that I looked. I was like, everyone kind of goes through that awkward stage, but it wasn't really any of those things. I'm Mexican, and I got made so much fun of when I was in middle school. And it was just like jokes. It wasn't like rude jokes, but it was like, the lawn would be being mowed, and they're like, oh, hey, is that your uncle? Just like rude stuff like that. And it like crushed me. And I was like so ashamed of who I was and my culture and all that kind of stuff. And it really impacted my identity. And so if I could like go back and tell myself something, it would be just be secure in who you are. And once you start to figure out that identity, it unlocks different things inside you. And then it leads you, once you're like confident and secure in yourself, you can figure out, you have to get to that place to be able to share what you want with the world. And like I said, it takes a village. And so each one of you guys have something to offer the world. It could be, like I said, compassion. It could be music. It could be your athletic talent. But we're all part of a village, and that village is society. And we have a responsibility to figure out what our gifts are, and we have a responsibility to figure out the things that we're good at, because we owe that to society to share those gifts and to share those talents and to share those skills and abilities. So being secure in yourself and figuring out who you are and what you're meant to do in this world is, if someone told me that at like 12 and 13, I don't know if I would have listened the first time. But if I heard it over and over and over, I think I would have gotten farther along sooner. Yeah.
No, that's powerful. Thanks for sharing that, especially during these times.
Of course.
Well, the reality was very real when you were growing up, and today, as you know, we are experiencing a lot of social unrest. And so what a moment in time that we all have to find our voices, our identities, and also to notice those that are in those situations that you just described.
Sure.
That we can be leaders, and we can be connecting, and we can be helping and reaching out to them.
Absolutely.
Well, Bri, for this last part of the interview, we don't really have a question for you, but we love to turn it over to our dreamer and doer. And we call it our last minute link, and where we give you 1 minute to share whatever is on your heart to be able to encourage our big dreams, or maybe something that's going to help us right now if we feel like life feels like a grind and it's hard. So Carolyn, I think, has her timer, and actually there is a timer here because we're in our live studio.
Sure.
So Bri, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, set and go.
Oh, now you're putting me on the spot. I am so encouraged by you guys and seeing you guys here, getting up early, coming, and I'm sure you guys were maybe a little eager to get out of the house because you've, been locked up for the past couple of months and haven't been able to see your friends. But I think your guys' generation gets downplayed so much, and the expectation that a lot of society has for you guys is very low. And I am encouraged and inspired more than anything by your guys' generation. And to even look just at Norman, Oklahoma, and the students and the talent and the leadership that is coming out of just this city is so refreshing, especially just in a time like right now. Because looking at the older generation, like, in some areas, we have just done it all wrong. But like, you guys are our hope, and you guys have so much to offer the world, and the expectation that we should be holding you guys at is just, it should be so much higher. And so I challenge teachers and parents and more so people that don't have day-to-day interaction with your guys' generation to like believe and encourage and know that like we're leaving it up to you guys to rise up and to do something great in the world. And you have a little bit of fixing to do. There's a big responsibility on you guys to fix, to help repair what's broken right now in society. And you guys can do that by figuring out who you are and what part you play in helping with that. Even with, a couple years ago, it just blew me away looking at summer leadership and the things that come out of it. And I had the opportunity to lead the fashion group. And our goal for the week was to make a t-shirt or something like that. And out of that, we launched an entire fashion line and a company out of it. And they just went so beyond my expectation. And you look at it with like the music group and all of like the songs that they've recorded and released. And you look at Real Kitchen. And when I walk by that salsa on the shelf, I am just like blown away that it was created by you guys. And the Wrist World, that's what I was, Wrist World. I mean, what you guys are doing is just so amazing. And it's leadership and a really great leader leading people like you who are excited and passionate and really driven. And I hope you guys hold on to that and you realize what your potential is.
Bri, thanks for sharing
You're
that.
welcome. Thank you guys
Hope
for
you
having
guys
me.
really hear that, and we'll remind you again and again, like the amount of potential that you guys have, just waiting to be unlocked. It's there. You guys are world changers. You just have to go out and do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bri, we're going to give you a couple minutes break, but you're not going anywhere. You're going to hang out with us here. And we want to encourage our viewers, those that are watching, to drop a question in the comment box that will somehow get over to us and a live studio audience. We're going to be taking a couple of your questions before we officially wrap up for the day. We just want to remind everyone about our Loveworks digital resources that all can be found at loveworksleadership.org. And Bri, you gave us a great plug into this, but something that we have not yet talked about on Link Up with Loveworks is a new opportunity that we've created here at Loveworks, and it's called our Business Boot Up Week. And it's an opportunity for any student that is incoming 6th grade, 7th grade, or 8th grade that is interested in starting a business, or perhaps on a Friday night, watched Shark Tank and dreamt to him or herself, I would love to pitch to Damon John and Mark Cuban. Well, Business Boot Up is going to give you that opportunity to learn how to start an actual business. And again, that camp is open right now. Spaces are limited, but we definitely want to encourage you to check that out at loveworksleadership.org.
For sure. Are you ready for some questions?
Bri, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
All right. Live studio audience, Miss Olivia.
Yes.
Yeah, who did you look up to and like on that, who was your biggest inspiration?
Yeah. So Olivia asks, who is your biggest inspiration? Who have you looked up to?
It's a really good question. I don't know if I can give you one single name. I've had mentors in my life. Michael and his wife, Selah, have been long time mentors of mine. I had a business mentor. So I've definitely had some strategic mentors in my life, but I think I looked up more to really strong female leaders in the business world. and the women that were like landing on the cover of Time magazine and Forbes, and I was like, ooh, I want to be like them. I don't want to be on the cover of Vogue. I don't want to be on those magazine covers. And I was really inspired by women who were like really leading the way and really making a difference, not only professionally but personally too. Yeah.
Haxton?
Oh.
Yeah. So Haxton asks, if you could do anything differently about your business, if you could change anything, what would that be?
So I think you guys will identify this now that you guys have had to do work or school from home. You have to be very motivated, self-motivated to get up every day and to work on your own business. And sometimes that is so hard. And you don't have a boss telling you what to do. You don't have a deadline to hit. It's just you getting up and doing it. And so I think I've carried that out pretty well, but getting myself to a point where I didn't get totally burned out and just not want to do it anymore, like pacing myself, finding a passion outside of what I do to like, be creative or to, when I'm in on something, I get all in and I give all my attention to it, and then I don't do something on the side. You know what I mean? Like Michael has all of his Iron Man stuff. Carolyn loves to cook. Like those are things outside of what they love and they're passionate about and they do every day for work. Like I wish I found something outside of my job that I love to do and had a hobby on the side for balance. Yeah. Balance, yeah.
We do have a question from a viewer, and the question is, and may have triggered based upon maybe something you said and your experience, but what advice would you give to a student, a middle school student who is being bullied?
Oh, wow. I think that goes back to the identity part in you and in the other person. And I think I would challenge them to really think about the other person and what their struggle might be and the reason that they're bullying you, and respond as hard as it may be, but respond out of compassion and love for that person, because you're being hurt by their actions, but they're the hurt one, and to not take it personally, as hard as that is, as hard as it was for me to hear all these jokes about being Mexican. Like I had to, just love myself enough and to know that it was coming out of it had nothing to do with me personally. You know what I mean? It was more so about those other people and them feeling like they had, like, the last word or the joke or the, whatever it may be. So I don't know if I answered that question, but.
That was great.
Can we take one more?
Let's do one more.
Okay, one more.
Miss Maddie?
When did you start realizing that you needed to be more confident in yourself?
So Miss Maddie asks, when did you realize you needed to become more confident in yourself?
When I was like 30 years old. I think it was just it was a long journey of being, and I even still struggle with it. Like I said, some days I'm like, what am I doing? And your confidence that's like an ongoing thing. It's not like one day, like, okay, I'm good enough, I'm confident enough, and I love myself. And it is an ongoing process. So I probably didn't realize it, honestly, until about college. And in college, when I really started to discover who I was meant to be and what the gift I was supposed to share with the world, it took me, I would say, probably until college to really realize it. I didn't realize it. And then now it's just something that you have to work on, always.
Well, Bri, we are so thankful that you joined us today. You mentioned, the role that my wife and I have played in your life, but you are a bigger inspiration than you even realize. So thank you for helping to make us better, our young dreamers and doers that are in the live studio today better, and those that have you. Thank you, Bri.
Of course. Thank you.
Well, we just want to remind you, we begin to bring things to a close. To mark your calendars again for tomorrow at 9 a.m. We are going to be streaming on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Instagram. And we're bringing in special guest, dreamer and doer, Sean McManus. Sean McManus has coached soccer for over 17 years in places like California and Kansas and Oklahoma. He is the co-author of this workbook that our young dreamers and doers will be receiving tomorrow as part of Summer Link Camp. And so this is called Compete Well, and this is a brain training workbook for high performers. Again, I'm holding on to something that I wish that at the age of 14 years old that I would have had the opportunity to work with. And so Sean is married to Rihanna. They have 3 kiddos, 2 boys, 2 girls, and a boy. I don't know if they're going to be here in the live studio with us, but it's going to be a special time for sure. So definitely mark your calendars for that. Again, we want to thank Bri Ramos for joining us. It's been really, really special. We are definitely better for our time together. And we want to remind you that real leaders, they don't blend in, but they stand out.
Dream big.
And do your dream.